All right, YouTube, so today we're talking about a hot topic, infidelity.
Cheater.
But hold on, we're not just talking about the common infidelity, we're talking about financial infidelity.
Here we go again with money.
Yeah, this one hits different. So stay tuned today on this video and on this channel as we talk about 10 tips to handle financial infidelity in your marriage and your relationship. What is going on, YouTube, and welcome back to Faith Like That. We are a Christian ministry that is dedicated to helping you live a clean life for Christ and to live that life abundantly. Please take a moment and subscribe to our channel. We would greatly appreciate it, and it would help us get this information out to more people. And we're always dropping some great content about how you can grow in your level of faith and in your relationships and in your life. All right, YouTube, so once again today we're here to talk about financial infidelity in your marriage, and if you're not married, in your relationship where you might share money with your spouse or partner before you get married, right? So it's a very, very sly, I guess, subtle thing to start to notice, and a lot of times it's not something that people do intentionally, but it can have significant impacts to your relationship, your trust, your heart, and the way you feel about them, your emotional well-being, and just your overall life and your physical well-being, that you have something to eat and somewhere to sleep at night, right? So it is a major issue that we need to talk about, and you need to talk about with your spouse to make sure that you are on the same page, and there's not this infidelity that comes, or this giving the self away and your money away to something else that's not you, that's secretive, right? So let's jump into it because I do want to talk about the 10 tips that I want to give you for financial infidelity, but at the same time, I want to make sure that you recognize the signs, right? There's always signs that something is coming. There's signs that something is happening, and you just gotta pay attention, right? Again, like I said, a lot of people don't do this intentionally, right? They just don't have good financial education and literacy, or they sometimes people just have a problem and have a lack of self-control about what they do with their money, and they are taken advantage of by financial institutions that are sort of predatory in their lending, right? So either way, the signs of this, you gotta watch your money, right? So there should be an even distribution of responsibilities and understanding of where the money is going. So it easily happens when only one person handles the finances, right? This one person handles the finances, and I don't look at them, and I just need to make sure I'm good on everything. Well, that opens the door for someone who may be tempted to spend in a way that is not agreeable with you and your values and expectations for your relationship, or that just may have an issue with their literacy and self-control. So you gotta watch out for someone being secretive, right? Someone who is not as transparent about their spending habits and what they're buying or not buying, and especially not as transparent about their money in general when you're in a relationship with them, or especially if you're married, right? If you're married, I should know how you spend your money. I mean, I need to have it. If you've agreed to have a different bank account, that's fine. But if I need to keep secret where I'm spending at, then it could be a problem. And sometimes it even reveals larger problems of actual physical infidelity with other people. So we should know, be transparent about our money. And if we're not, it's a sign that something else may be going on. Not only that we're starting to have things that we didn't used to have. That we got new shoes every week, every month. We got Amazon boxes coming all the time. When these things start to happen, then yeah, we gotta make sure we know what's going on. You're always going shopping with a friend, and you don't ever buy anything, but she buys everything. But yeah, that's what you tell me. But I don't go shopping, so I don't know. So I really don't know what's happening. So you should be mindful. Again, watch for signs, and as you see these signs, you need to make sure you start to implement these 10 tips or some kind of strategy to help you combat this financial infidelity or prevent it happening in your relationship, in your marriage.
You gotta know how to read the signs.
The first tip to combat financial infidelity in relationships and marriage is to talk and communicate with each other. Again, it's very hard for this to happen when you're watching it happen. So if you watch it happen and allow it, then that means you're part of the problem too. So, but if you're watching it happen and you say something to prevent it, and you both get some education and put strategies in place to correct this and make sure that your spending habits and your finances are healthy, then we don't have this issue. But it starts with communication. Being transparent about your spending habits, your financial situation, the things you want and don't want, the issues that you may have with self-control, what are the expectations for how we spend with our finances, right? All this should be discussed. So there is communication and transparency.
I'm ready to communicate with you now.
Tip number 2 to prevent financial infidelity is to own up to your mistakes. That, yeah, a lot of times in our finances we see this, that because they did this, I'm gonna go do this now. They just bought new shoes, so I'm gonna buy new shoes too. Even though I just bought some last week, how's it that they get to buy some, so I'm gonna buy some? So if there's mistakes on my part, that my education or my motives or our expectations weren't met, or there's a boundary that I crossed in our expectations, that I own up to that, and not because they did this, I get to do this, or no, they did this, and maybe I did this, let me say, okay, well look, this is where we're at, let's have this conversation of, okay, this boundary was crossed, and okay, great, I see it, I made this mistake, I apologize, let's correct it.
Own up to my mistakes.
Tip number 3 to prevent financial infidelity. I want to go back to this. That communication is key. You gotta communicate. You gotta talk to each other. You gotta know what's going on. Even if it is my responsibility to handle the finances, that I'm very clear and I communicate where we're at with our finances, so your spending habits or your spending choices, which you might be at liberty to make, don't also impact our finances. But again, that requires communication.
Let's talk soon, okay?
Tip number 4 to prevent financial infidelity is to set clear and healthy boundaries about spending, right? So there is an expectation that we set together of this is what happens with our money. This much goes to savings. This much goes to investing. This is for groceries. This is disposable income. And there's a boundary here that you don't cross this boundary with your disposable income and how you spend money. That you can only go here. This is your box. So this is where you fit in. So what you buy has to fit in here. If it does not, then you can't do it. If your box don't stretch to the last day of the month, sorry, because your disposable income is gone, so now you gotta wait till next month to do what you're gonna do. But we have those expectations and boundaries set, so we are all aware of them and we can adhere to them.
How about a loose follow? All right, boundaries are good.
Tip number 5 to prevent financial infidelity in marriages and relationships is, and it is connected to the last one with the boundaries, is to set a budget. You should have a budget for what goes where. You should have a budget that goes to this much of our income goes to savings, investings, spendings, groceries, goes to home improvement stuff. This much goes to paying off our debt. This is what goes to the house. So when we have it all set out, it's easier to follow and adhere to when we both see it and it's there. And we just know, we just have in my mind, this is what goes here and there and wherever, because then when there's no clear line, it's easy to cross the line and cross the boundary. So make sure you have not only boundaries, but you have a budget set to go along with them.
We have to budget.
Tip number 6 for how you prevent financial infidelity is that you all talk about and have a plan or strategy for how you save money. So this is a hot one, right? Because a lot of times this is where financial infidelity starts to come up, because you have one partner or spouse that's more of a penny pincher and wants to save money and has maybe some financial goals set. And they may or may not have communicated them, or it may not be too clear what the boundaries are or whatever else. Or it might be, but then the other partner, they just feel like, okay, well, I really want these shoes and they're on sale. They marked them down from $200 to $100, but my disposable income is only $50 right now. And I just go ahead and buy it anyway, right? And I try to hide the fact that I'm now buying things that don't go along with our expectation and our plan, right? So because we're talking about how we can save money, we make sure in this that there's equity in that conversation. Not just one person dominates, we're saving this and this is what we're doing. Not just one person says we spend, but together we come together and develop a healthy plan for what is our idea of saving money, how much we want to save, and at what lengths do we want to go to hit our objectives in our saving. So we both agree upon that, so it makes sure it's easier for us not to cross the boundary because we both have some buy-in on what plan that we have. But you need to make sure you talk about saving.
Oh, we could save money on that.
Tip number 7, to prevent financial infidelity in your relationship and marriage. Okay? It's connected to the last one. You need to have a financial plan. You may not have the big money to go have a financial planner and have an accountant, but there are some people or some programs even that will help you do this for an affordable amount. And you need to make sure you have a plan of some sort to get where you're going. Nobody leaves their house and says, we're going to go to the movies and not know where the movies is or have a map of how to get there. There's a plan on how to get there. You know the steps, where to turn here, where to turn there. And without that in your finances, you might just be wandering and never get to the place you want to be. Make sure you sit down and talk about not only your goals with saving, but your financial plan also to meet any other goals you have in your finances.
You have a financial plan, a budget.
All right, we're going fast, but here we go. Tip number 8 in how we prevent financial infidelity in our relationship and marriages is we make sure we talk about the savings, the financial plan, but we also make each other very aware and have conversations about debt in our plan to rid ourselves or remove debt from our lives, our finances, and our marriage or relationship. I could have just let this be in the last step, but again, I want to talk about it specifically because a lot of us have debt. We have, and especially in America, we have a lifestyle of accumulating debt and getting things to get instantly gratified about what we want and putting it on credit, which credit is a tool, but as a tool, you need to make sure you're using it correctly and in a healthy way. Because if you don't, it will overwhelm you and you will find yourselves in so much debt, needing to file bankruptcy and needing to build back your finances and your credit after that. Which, I mean, there's answers and ways out of a lot of things, but there's still a process and it's not fun. So in all this, make sure that as you start your relationship, that you talk about debt and the situation that you're in. If you're already in your relationship, you haven't talked about it, that's okay. Talk about it now. Set a time, say we're going to sit down, we're going to talk about debt. I want you to know this is how much debt I have, this is how much I have to pay, this is how much I'll owe then, this is my plan for getting it paid off, or I at least have this much debt, I don't have a plan, I need some help, talk to me. What can we do to make sure we're both safe here and we're being covered and paying off our debts? But you need to talk about debt in your relationship because some relationships start not knowing, and then when they find out, it is damaging and has a negative impact on your relationship and marriage, and you don't want that. But for finances, like it can feel, I guess, like there's infidelity, or you can feel cheated when someone is now paying off debt or accumulating more debt that you didn't know about and you find out about it later. It is going to hurt. So make sure you have this conversation.
And if there's no more debt, there's no more problem.
All right, tip 9 for preventing financial infidelity in your relationship and marriage, okay, is to ask for help. So many times we see in our relationships and marriages that we're out on an island. We want to do it all alone. We're going to lone wolf this thing, and I'm just going to fix it. I don't have to tell them about it. That in itself can make somebody feel like there was infidelity on your part. We're supposed to be together. We're supposed to be in a relationship. We are married, and you wouldn't even tell me this was going on, or you're struggling with this, and you wouldn't ask me for help. So it almost says that you don't trust them enough to tell them to be able to help you or that they could help you. So you don't want that in a situation, and again, it can be hurtful. So make sure that if you are struggling with things, if you have a lot of debt, you're not saving any money, you just don't have a plan with your finances, that you're asking for help, and especially from your partner or spouse. They may not know either, but I guarantee you they'll appreciate that you asked them, and then you two together can go and find help together.
Listen, Wally, can you please help me out?
All right, number 10, the last tip for handling or preventing financial infidelity in your marriage or relationship is to seek counseling. Yeah, this one is connected to the last one in that you need to ask for help. If you all can't help each other or don't have the means or the understanding, now it's time to seek some professional help. Go to see somebody, a financial planner, go see someone about a budget, go to your bank, talk about financial plans, see if they have those resources for getting you out of debt. Maybe there's debt consolidation loans that you can utilize. Man, look, let me tell you, even there was that Financial Peace University, Dave, I can't think of the guy's name, but the Money Makeover, Dave, I can't think of his last name right now. I'll put it somewhere if I can find it. But even go to that. He has books. He does podcasts and YouTube every week. There's strategies and resources to help you, but you just got to seek them out. I was trying to tell y'all about Dave Ramsey. I want to make sure I give you the name. It's Dave Ramsey. All right, thank you for spending time with me today here on YouTube as I've been talking loud and fast about financial infidelity and things you can do to prevent it and handle it in your relationship or your marriage. Look, if you're still here, I feel like you liked the video, go ahead and smash that like button. And also, if you're here, I want to ask you to subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon so you know when our videos are coming out. We're always dropping great content and we want to be able to add value to you, and you also help us out when you subscribe. So until next time, have faith, be safe, and we'll see you soon.